Hello and welcome to Bleed. This is the show about advertising and more with myself, Ryan Whyte, freelance graphic designer. And as you can see and hear, I am not joined by Jacque Moodley, art director, beat maker, baby daddy, and I'm also not joined by a very special guest from the industry. And that is because today we will be doing a highlights reel of our favorite moments from season 1. And for those that don't know, Bleed is the show about advertising and more, as I said in the intro. And basically what that entails is we interview a bunch of cool people from the industry, from a creative industry. And so it doesn't have to be in advertising. That's why we added the and more part. So that kind of gives us a get out of jail free card where we can interview people from any kind of visual arts, musical arts, dancing, film, graffiti. So it kind of like gives us room to kind of just do whatever the hell we want, really. What else? What else can I say? We also have Bleed Extra, and that's a show where it's just Jacque and I, and we talk about basically whatever we've been going through advertising wise, what we think the trends are, kind of break down how we arrived in advertising, and also what that means and what impact we have on the world and so forth. So if you want to catch that, that's Bleed Extra. It's all available on Spotify and YouTube and your favorite podcast player, RSS feed. And so without any further delays, we are going to highlight season 1. So enjoy the show. So, season 1, episode 1, featuring Alex Hope-Bailie, Through the Line producer, myself, Ryan Whyte, freelance graphic designer, and also Jacque Moodley, art director. So we speak about a number of things in this episode. We speak about our obsession for trying to insert puns into our work. I don't know how widespread this obsession is, but for me, from a personal point of view, I find that it happens a lot. I myself can't resist the urge when a brief comes in to try and slip a pun here and there. I don't know whether that is just an advertising thing or maybe it's an old school advertising thing. So we speak about that, and that led us onto a feature called I Know a Guy, and that's when you kind of ask a buddy to help you out with something, and you can see it's like not at agency level. Not that that's a bad thing, but it's just you can clearly see these guys are just having fun, which is great. We speak about the pros and cons on that. We also talk about burnout and mental health, and awards, and how all those kind of things tie in some way or form. We also tell the story about the vagina chicken, which ties into mental health. It's basically a story about an outburst that happened at an agency that I was working at, and what leads people to kind of do these things, to burst in with a bag of Ziploc rotisserie chicken, pre-made rotisserie chicken, accusing people of stealing their chicken. So it's things like that. Wonderful things like that we talk about on the show. So without any further delays, here are the highlights from season 1, episode 1. Pleasure your shelf. For some reason, in like AAA and just I don't know, for some reason we were obsessed with puns. I don't know if that was a thing for you.
I've always liked puns because
for every project that we worked on, I was like, how do I slip a pun in? And now you know where my dad jokes come from, Alex. Anyways.
Both of you are guilty of this, though. Both of you are really guilty of puns in your personal lives.
I know. And I don't know why, like advertising brings this need to try and find a pun, and you want to do like a little word play, and it's so cringy. But I remember the one project that I did for Nando's. We had to design like a truck. It would have like Nando's branding on it, obviously like chickens in transit, like come up with some kind of quirky line. And I remember I did like this cartoon character chicken, right? And it would have various kind of outfits and whatever. And the one character was like a Madonna kind of chicken, and you have like a corset, and she'd have like, the wig and everything, and the microphone. And the line was, like a virgin, plucked for the very first time.
God. Ryan, that's horrific.
I hope they failed you. I hope you failed.
Oh, I actually got really good grades for that. On the reverse end of the truck, it was like ruffle your tail feathers or something silly like that, because it was, yeah. And then on the other side, I've saved the best for last. It was a scientist chicken, like holding like a test tube or whatever, and it said experimental chicken.
See, that's okay. That
I like that one.
But Madonna though, bro.
Then that brings us on to the next segment, which is I know a guy. Jacque, can we have the jingle, please?
Ding, 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 ding. I know a guy.
Thanks for the jingle. Always on cue there, a resident beat maker, producer, rapper, did I mention? Anyways, so I know a guy is a segment, Alex, you're not aware of this, where we take a deeper dive into existing branding, where someone clearly has like asked a favor of a friend because they didn't really go through an agency. And this is no disrespect to the actual design or ideas that these people have come up with. It's just you can tell. So I'm gonna read out a few, and I just want you guys to react and like maybe share some insight. So the first one is actually a really lovely bookstore in our neighborhood. Alex, you may have seen this this bookstore. It's called Hard Copy Books. Have you been there?
Mm.
Do you know what their payoff line is?
I don't.
Their payoff line is pleasure your shelf.
Wow.
And I feel like that should be said in like a Sean Connery accent. Pleasure your shelf.
Yeah.
I think it's brilliant.
Wow.
Any thoughts there? Because for me, it's kind of like, if you take what it means to pleasure yourself, you take what it means to pleasure yourself, which is basically onanism, right? Like manual stimulation, right? Jacque is kidding. So
take notes.
if you break it down, if you deconstruct it, it's like, okay, pleasure yourself, but now my bookshelf is going to have that same kind of pleasure, right? So does it make sense? Does it need to make sense? Is it just like pun for pun's sake, or?
It's fantastic.
I personally think it's pun's sake. Yeah, it's fantastic. Well said, Jacque.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I mean, I remembered it. I don't think it's bad. I don't think if you had to, like in a meeting, you suggest that line as a copywriter in an agency, I don't think that kind of line would fly. But it's the kind of line that you would love for it to make it out there. Do you know what I mean? Right? For me, anyways. I'm like, this is great. People are going to love it.
It's probably just the owner. The owner owns the shop is like, oh, pleasure your shelf. Brilliant. They run with it because they're the client. The client can write their own headlines and approve them on the spot.
Often do. Yeah, they often do.
Yeah, man. If you're in charge of your brand, fuck it, man. Go wild. Pleasure your shelf all you want.
Yeah, I think it's either he knew someone or, like you say, he did it himself.
Pleasured himself.
Okay, This one is my favorite, and this company has been around for, honestly, I don't know, like over a decade, and they've been doing well, it seems, because they've stayed open. And it's a company called Just Handle It. I don't know if you know it. So they sell door handles.
Yeah, it's about to be like hardware. Okay.
So they sell door handles and other, but the thing is, like, there's already like a little bit of a pun in there. Just handle it, man. You know what I mean? Their payoff line takes it a step further. So just handle it, I can deal with, that's fine. So the name of the company is called Just Handle It. Their payoff line is, if you can't knob it, just handle it.
I love it, bro. There's
Really?
a Grand Prix for payoff lines.
Alex is in disbelief. This is a real company.
I've seen it. I've seen the billboard. It's a billboard. There's a billboard with this on.
If you can't knob it, just handle it.
Yeah. So they sell knobs as well.
Thanks, Captain Obvious.
So if you were looking around to like perhaps knob something and you couldn't, get a handle instead.
Yeah, man. Just handle it.
I think it works, and I love that it's out there. You know, I feel like there should be more.
It works because we're promoting it. So in fact, it's got like so much free media behind it now. Look
Exactly.
at us.
For all three of our viewers and listeners, I know of at least 3 viewers / listeners to this particular show that we're recording now.
And they could be looking for knobs and going, fuck, where am I going to find a knob at this time? Just shelf it. What? Just handle.
Pleasure yourself.
How about I need a knob, my study room with lots of books. I need books and I need some door handles. We've got you.
And I need some like below the belt innuendo.
Oh, always the splash of innuendo.
A splash.
I don't know how I feel about it. Eh? I'm a little torn. I mean, maybe they could have just been a little simpler and been like, just don't be a knob. I don't know.
Oh.
And go for a handle. Okay. We should actually visit that store and check it out. I'm sure we could find some good knobs.
I mean, yeah. I wonder what their Instagram handle is. Just
Just handle it.
yeah. Just underscore. Anyways.
Okay.
Any other ones?
So there's the next one is a pizza joint that's recently opened up. I've had their pizza and it's pretty good. It reminds me of like, okay, so it's like thin crust base, and it's kind of like posh tuck shop pizza. And I know that sounds bad, but sometimes you want like a little bit of a street food tuck shop experience. Anyways, this pizzeria is called Urban Crust, which is fine as a name, I think. Urban Crust, have you been there? Have you tried the pizza?
No, not yet, but I did hear of them.
So I ordered this pizza, it came, enjoyed the pizza. I closed the box and I looked at their payoff line. And their payoff line is crust your gut.
That's brilliant. It's brilliant. You put in the crust in the stomach, trust your guts. I think it's one of the best copywriting examples I've ever seen. It goes, just do it. Impossible is nothing. Trust your gut for me.
And then sheer driving pleasure.
Sheer driving pleasure. Or Vorsprung durch Technique, which is a good one.
So trust your gut is up there. I don't know. For me, it kind of sounds like kind of bacteria that you would get in your like colon, like gut crust or something. Sorry, that's very gross. But that's what I was thinking. Is like, you know, it's a little bit.
It's like maybe crust your insect would have been better, but it's not as catchy.
Not as catchy. Okay, we'll move on to the next one. So the next one is So Jacque and I, we went to this wedding. He went to a wedding. I tagged along, not to the wedding, but just the whole trip. And we came across, we got lost a little bit. We were looking for a petrol station. And we came across this place called Leapco Meat, which is fine as a name. And the payoff line is all kinds of meaty goodness. And for me, it was like, okay, cool. You've got all kinds of meaty goodness. You get chicken, you get beef, you get pork. Like, what are all kinds? And then I went to their website and they actually have all kinds. So it's like polonies and it's just, I don't know. For me, it was like a bit of a weird one. Like, what kind of meaty goodness? What kind of meaty goodnesses are out there, you know?
What's behind the counter is what I want to know. What else is on offer?
It makes you think, like, what are they putting in the meat?
That's the curtain.
All kinds of meaty goodness. No
I don't want to
comment.
know. What's
Lambert's
behind the
Bay or something, right? So if you need meat in Lambert's Bay, they've got all kinds of meaty goodness for you.
Go to Leapco. Okay. Okay. And then the last one is a courier company called Skynet Worldwide Express. And their line is, we'd love to handle your package.
Everyone's handling things today. I don't know. Handle your shelf.
Why is it
Just
always sexual innuendo, you know?
Well, yeah, that's kind of what I'm wondering.
Because you have to think about the people who run these companies and who they are and like what kind of jokes they tell. It's indicative of like the ownership, right? So these guys are like the guys around the braai who make like bad dad jokes. It's like my uncle in a group chat. It's kind of those kind of jokes. You like,
It's like Ryan in a group chat. What are you on about?
who's like a dirty uncle.
Actually started the three of us.
As guys,
Yeah.
and a courier company says to you, we'd love to handle your package. How does that make you feel?
Erect.
For me, like, it would be difficult to handle my package, you know?
Oh.
Not because it's, you know.
You have to find it first.
Yeah. So I would feel a little bit emasculated. Is that the word?
Probably.
Yeah. Yeah.
Depends on what the courier guy looks like, you know?
I would.
If Johnny Depp shows up, I don't know if Johnny Depp's on, but if Johnny Depp shows up, I'll be like, okay, man. Where do I sign?
Would you use that courier company and then as the guy, when the guy comes to fetch your package, then you like play into that, you know, if you come to handle my package, you could, you know.
Did you bring extra salami?
Would you love to handle my package, if you know what I mean? You know?
Yeah.
And then you do the popcorn box trick. Here's my package.
Yeah. Can you ship this?
What is that Lonely Island song? Dick in a box.
Exactly.
It's my dick in a box.
Guess what's in this box? All kinds of meaty goodness.
Thanks, Jacque.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Oh boy. And then you proceed to pleasure yourself.
Exactly.
That's why we brought you on the show, Alex, to
make me die a little inside.
Throw this innuendo at you. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Great.
You know, like a real transparent view of what goes on, the good and the bad. And I think it's cool. I think we're providing a service.
Yeah.
For, you know, the guys who want to pleasure themselves.
Speaking of the good and the bad, it was one of my early jobs. I shifted around quite a bit, like in the early years. And the moment I realized, like, this thing is actually a bit bigger than what your perception is, all that Mad Men stuff that you were talking about, or Generations. I realized, like, there's some crazy people in advertising, and this moment, like, really, like, hit it home for me. I was it was just like, you know, that afternoon lull in a day when it's kind of like 3 p.m. There's that awkward kind of silence of, you know, like, people are kind of working, not working, they're chilling on Facebook, and there was this lull in this agency that I was working at, and it was kind of like it was like a sweatshop. We were all on top of each other, and this lady just burst into the room, kind of like that scene from Pulp Fiction where she's like, every motherfucking one of you, you know? And she's holding this bag of rotisserie chicken, pre-made rotisserie Ziploc bag rotisserie chicken. She's holding this thing up, and she's like going to every single person, and she's like, who the fuck ate a piece of my chicken? And she's like, yeah. I was just like, what the fuck's going on? She's like, I hope you fucking enjoyed that piece of chicken because I rubbed it all over my vagina.
Oh.
In an open plan office, we all packed like sardines. And she's like, I hope you fucking enjoyed that piece of chicken because I rubbed it all over my vagina and I have gonorrhea and syphilis.
Oh, dude.
Yeah. And then I proceeded to like lick my fingers and I was like, that's what that taste was. No. I didn't eat the chicken. But
you did eat
but the thing is, I think that was the moment where I was like, this isn't like a desk job. This isn't an office job. This is what it means to be in advertising, you know? And that was the moment where I was like,
I'm glad.
Maybe I should become, I don't know, an accountant, or I was terrible at accounting. I could never do accounting.
I can never balance a sheet.
But yeah, that for me, I was just like, I have arrived.
I know. That's not a nice place to be, dude. Gross. Well, I'm just trying to think. Like, I think I've been quite fortunate in the sense that my experience in advertising sort of was more backward to forward. Like, generally, when you're a junior, you get ground to a pulp and become everyone's bitch, essentially. Excuse my language. But I was really lucky that when I started in the industry, I worked with a team that was like a really close-knit family, you know? So everyone had each other's backs and everyone was free to be like beautifully creative and inspired, and you know, working all-nighters was fun because we knew that we loved what we did and you know it would be worth it, and everyone loved our thinking. Whereas, but I mean, back then that was in post-production, and then you move into agency and it is 24/7 and it's all-nighters all the time and working your ass off, but there's never any like, well done guys, like your hard work paid off, the client's really happy. It's like, why was your work so average? Sorry, what? Why is it average, dude? Like, we worked really hard on this, the client's super happy, we pulled out all the stops. Yeah, but you know, it could have been better. It's not going to win awards. And I think that for me is like my bone of contention in advertising, is like awards should come to those who deserve them. 100%. I think if your ideas are amazing, they deserve to win awards. But it's all been built completely around winning awards. There's no more like, fuck, you know, like, actually, I had this dream, and now that you've brought up this idea, like maybe we should just think out of the box and, you know, just be free to be creative and come up with this awesome idea that's going to be flippin' awesome to make. Instead, it's like, but is it going to win me a Grand Prix? You're like, no, bro, 90% of it won't win us a Grand Prix. Maybe it'll win us a bronze lorry. But, you know, it's always about awards. So there's no like freedom to just think. There's no freedom to just play. And I think that's why I liked your little segment just now about I Know a Guy, because as cheesy or punny or weird as those were, like it was somebody genuinely being creative, you know, and like with no guidelines, no one being like, fuck no, you can't say that shit. You know, it's someone being like, I'm so funny, I'm so punny, like everyone's gonna love this.
Yeah.
And it is, it's unforgivable. I'm gonna remember that. It's some of it not so much as I want to, but you know, like that for me is the thing, like being creative and feeling like your work is worth something. And like, cool, I worked a 23-hour day and I've had an hour of sleep and I'm back at the office, but it's going to be worth it because I'm going to be proud of my work and it's going to look awesome. And my team knows that, you know, we've really collaborated and done some really cool shirts. You know, that to me is advertising. That was why I got into advertising, because that's what I loved. And
Yeah.
now you look at it and you're like, oh, really? So I don't know. Some days I love advertising. Some days I'm like, what am I doing with my life?
Yeah.
Why don't I have a BCom degree? If I'm going to be doing a desk job, why aren't I earning 3 times what I should be? You know what I mean? So I don't know. What do you think, Jacque?
No, man, I hear you. I think, yeah, there is. I mean, I've had good experiences. I've had very short experiences, and not like only when I was a junior. I mean, when I was a junior, I literally like, I remember my first job, I was like so overworked and underpaid, and like I would like work till 3 a.m, drive all the way back to Alberton from Sandton, and come in at like 7 and like finish utter nonsense, to be honest with you. And I remember like crying, and like we had like a little photographic studio, and I had like asked for the key for it. And I just went to sit there and I cried in it. I was like, man, I hope this gets better. And then like last year I worked like 36 hours straight, like, like 3 days with like a friend of mine, well, a colleague. And it was like the worst experience. And like when we came back in the morning and everyone reviewed the work, they were like, this was shit. They're like, this is shit. And why isn't this done? And why isn't it further than it should be? And I was just like, in 12 years, I'm still like feeling emotional and crying in the studio. But there's been good times, and I made great friends, and there's been cool parties, and there's been like crazy stories that like, wouldn't have happened if I was anywhere else. So it's like it's a love-hate love relationship that I think maybe when you're in it, you kind of get, I don't know, maybe they make me work 36 hours because they really love me. And you pretend you fell down the stairs because that's love. And that's what advertising does. Oh, I just walked into the knob. This blue.
The knob.
I think that's Stockholm syndrome. Just putting that out there.
Well, yeah, maybe that's it, right? But yeah, man, it's one of those things where I think I haven't figured out how to transition out of it. I think advertising is amazing in the sense that it brings you around such creative like minds and like people and like friendships also. Like the 3 of us know each other because of advertising, and you're around these people and you get inspired by these people. They're so talented, and then you've tried to figure out a way to go, you're using this talent for this industry and you're doing great work for these clients, and they're getting bonuses and doing crazy things because of the hard work you've done. And maybe you don't get as much benefits as like the people you do the work for. But I think there is a way where you can figure out that you know how to do it, you know how to sell a product, you know how to like create a CI or look and feel for a brand. And if you get to do it for yourself, and I don't mean in the sense of doing it for an agency, I think you figure out that I've built brands, I know how to market things, I have all these skills now. I know how to do After Effects, for instance, or I know how to edit, I know how to do all these things because of these skills you learned in advertising. And if you can use that to create something you love, then maybe it's worth it. Maybe it's worth crying in the studio for when you figure it out. But it takes a long time. And I think some people do it. Some people like can convert that energy or their creativity into something that benefits them directly, as opposed to benefiting the agency or benefiting the client. So that's kind of it, man. I think like I'm not remorseful or whatever. I think I've learned a lot and I've made great friendships, but I think at some point I need to go, how can I take everything I've learned and the connections I've made and like these people I've met, and how can I use this to do something better? Because I'm doing a lot for brands, I'm doing a lot for my team or my agency, but at some point I need to do it for me. And that's, yeah.
Okay, so season 1, episode 2, and we are calling this episode Up on the Fridge. It's actually a 2-part episode because we just had a little bit of a marathon. So joining us on that episode was, of course, Jacque Moodley, art director, myself, Ryan Whyte, freelance graphic designer, and Dana Jacob. And Dana is the reason why I'm like struggling to find a term for her is because she pretty much does everything. She was a ballerina at one stage. She's into strategy. She's a writer, director, actress. So yeah, very multi-talented person. And In this episode, we speak about buzz terms and whether we need them or not, especially advertising buzz terms. So that was a nice little feature that we did. We also have a look at, there's a little bit of a highlights reel of Dana's acting ability, so we'll put that in there, as well as Jacque and his rapping career and the CD covers he used to design growing up. Yeah, of course, as always, we talk about our path to advertising, and so there's a bit of that, but you can watch the full episode for that. We will be highlighting what it means to have your work up on the fridge. So that's where the actual title comes from, and that's just about everybody wanting their work out there and being proud and kind of saying, hey, you know, my work's on the fridge, you know, and it's a cool little sentiment. And yeah, without any further delays, here is the highlights from episode 2, Up on the Fridge.
Dana Jacob.
Hi. Wait, I prepared a cool intro.
Yeah,
Just wait, hold on. Okay. Hi.
Oh, that's cool.
Hi.
Donna Jacobs. Jacob. I love it.
So Jacque, do you identify a bit more with like the performance side of things and like the music side of things? Like, where do you sit on that side?
I mean, I think advertising or design, at least for me, was always like a way to get like, so I've always been interested in rapping, like making hip hop music. And I used to like battle and that sort of thing. And then I would sometimes design, I think, Ryan, you have a similar thing where I'd also design covers, but I design covers for myself. So like I'd make mixtapes, and like sometimes at AAA, we had a design project with one of our lecturers, and I'd always like say, oh, I'm going to do an album cover. And he'd be like, cool. But what he didn't know is I was doing like an album cover for myself. So I was like dropping a mixtape with my friends, and I was like, cool, we got this, Cynics was the group, and we had an album called Amateur Footage. So the whole thing was based in cinema. So it was like a film reel, and each like frame of the film had like me and my one friend and my other friend rapping. So I kind of used advertising or design as like a way to like make my rap career sort of take off. That was always the plan. I was like, I'm going to be a rapper. I'm going to do this advertising thing as a side thing, or like design as a side hustle until I can blow up as a rapper. And 12 years later, I'm still, you know, designing. Not so
Are
much
you rapping still? Rapping on the side?
I'm making beats more now. I produce for other rappers. You guys who are better than me.
Did you ever do the battles at Gandhi Square?
No, I never did Gandhi Square, but I did battle at AAA. I actually battled cats from Vega and beat them. 3 guys. I beat them.
Ooh,
I
yeah.
remember seeing you guys there, but I was like, whoa, those guys are too cool for me, and I would just go to old parks.
Drive off in your Honda Blood.
But I
Can you
remember.
drop us a beat, perhaps? You want to drop us like a little something?
I can drop a. No, I mean, let's see how the edit goes. I might drop.
Maybe it's the intro outro.
Yeah, exactly. I'll drop an intro and outro. I'll do a bleed intro.
Okay. I like it.
I remember you telling me, like, so obviously back in the day, before MP3s, before Spotify, before Apple Music, we actually had to go and buy an album, and you'd have to wait. There would be a release date, and I remember you were saying you used to pirate some of the albums and then create the artwork.
I can show you some now. Give me 1 second. Hold on.
Wow.
Dude, the FBI got you for pirating.
So I eventually bought the original, but I remember going to, this is Nas The Lost Tapes, my favorite album. And you can see there's like a little case there with like a microphone, and I remembered it. So when I went home, I tried to replicate it, and this is what I made. It's very bad. But inside is the microphone case with the case with the microphone. I remember that.
Sick.
Yeah, so that's like one of them. Nas, Stillmatic. I copied a lot of Nas now I think about it.
Did you use gouache?
No, this was marker and pens. This was my 50 cents to Get Rich or Die Trying cover.
I love that.
Look at that at the back. That's pretty good.
Wow, with the tats and everything.
Yeah, man. You know, I used an actual card. That's like conceptual. His name was
Ooh,
Master Ace. I
real
found Ace.
card.
All before college or during?
This is before college. Yeah, this is high school. Bootleg. Boom. Oops. Some Coldplay, X and Y. Anyways, yeah. That's how I got into design. Bootlegging.
What about you, Falcone? Ever had an idea blocked?
Oh no, plenty of times. But I think to your point, I think the reward that is advertising's like alluring aspect, right? Like getting your work out there and like when people see it and people go, oh man, I really like that TV ad I saw or that billboard or that even like you were saying, that social post. And when you get that feedback, I think that's also kind of why the rap thing appealed to me or whatever. It's just kind of like creating something and getting someone's feedback and just one guy saying, I like that verse you did or that on a rap song, or if I like that billboard you did, that billboard's so super cool. It looks so different from everything else. I think that's just like, I think while we're in this business, and I always think of like I've got a 6-year-old, and I just think about every time he draws something and I put it on the fridge, and like for him, it's me showing how proud I am of him, but for him, it's like, yeah, I did this thing. It's really cool. It's going up in the fridge, and I think everyone in advertising has this thing where we just want our stuff to go up in the fridge and like a pat on the back, and like that's the carrot that dangles in front of us, and that's what makes it rewarding. So as much as like sometimes it's really shit and we work really shit hours and sometimes the pay isn't good and like it's stressful, every once in a while it's like those few little moments where something goes up in the fridge or the billboard or on TV or on like a Facebook a social platform, then it's rewarding and we get that like sense of like belonging and like I'm doing something good, I'm doing something great, and people appreciate it. And I think it doesn't happen often, and I think it's happening less and less now with the way things are, but I think that's what keeps us in it, or what keeps us going. And I think it is important, if you don't get that from like your job or whatever, to have these things on the side, because then you can get that reward sort of dopamine coming in from something else you're doing. As long as you're making stuff and you're being creative, I think it's important, whether you do it for an agency, you do it for yourself, or you do it for whatever, props. I think is important, man. Keeps us alive.
So last time we did I Know a Guy. Today we are going to do, just looking at my notes, buzz terms. Do we need them? That's the name of the feature. Can we have the jingle?
Buzz terms. Do we need them?
Okay.
Like full sets of them. I got.
So I'm just basically going to recite a few of these buzz terms. First of all, we can discuss like what we think they mean, because some of them are a little bit ambiguous or maybe just don't make sense. And then we're going to say, do we need them? And we're going to vote. Okay, so the first one is actually my favorite. So I'm putting the best right up front. And I think Dana is actually the perfect person to have for this segment, because you are in digital strategy and there's a lot of buzz terms floating around. Okay, so the first one we've got is channel agnostic.
Oh yes, oh that's a biggie.
What is our understanding of this term?
It's a channel that doesn't go to church.
It's an atheist.
Atheist channel, exactly.
Atheist, Jesus for what? I love that term, because you could bring that to your agency and say, we want a channel agnostic campaign, go. And if they should know what it is, we all know what it is. It's going everywhere.
They just don't.
It go everywhere. It lives everywhere.
Okay. So the word I'm proposing for this, which we've used before, broad.
Broad
reach. Right? Do we need this word, channel agnostic? I would love to meet the person who came up with this word, because someone said it in the meeting and they were like, yeah, channel agnostic, and then it just spread, and then people are saying it now, which is fine. I mean, I've got nothing against saying it, but do we need it? Yay or nay for channel agnostic?
I'm gonna say yay. I think it's hilarious. It's
Classic strategy. classic strategy.
Okay.
It'll make-
Let's get to the next one. The next one is also one of my favorites. It's close runner-up to channel agnostic. Tissue session.
Oh, yeah.
What
I
is
think
standing?
I call the tissue session just because it always ends in tears. You always think a tissue session is going to be light and fluffy, and let's just discuss like the big idea. And then client goes, "But where's my emailers?" And you go, "That's not what this
Not
session
really.
is about." I think tissue sessions and things of that nature need to be managed by client service and go, "This is what you're going to expect," because you get into a tissue session and then clients like, "But where's my 360 campaign? Where's my channel agnostic campaign?" And you go, "That's not what this is about, man." So I think we need to get rid of fucking tissue sessions because it's never what it.
It's never. And the thing is that because they're supposed to be malleable. Like the whole idea of a tissue session is that it's a working session in a way. Like just call it a working session then, or like a workshop or So tissue session, they never really have an agenda, and you don't know what to expect or what the agency's coming back with, or you know what I mean. Scrap it. I'm a no.
I'm a no on that one as well. And I think our biggest issue with that is the fact that it already sets you up for something negative. It's a tissue session. It's not like the tissues are there just in case. It's a tissue session. They will definitely be used. There's going to be tears. And I don't know.
And you know you're the one that's going to cry.
Yeah. I mean, a better term for this would probably be, I've just got you a workshop session or a feedback session. Or imagine if you could just come up with like a light, fluffy name for it, a rainbow session.
Whoa! Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God!
Aw,
That's amazing.
nice.
Guys are going to have a super fun joy rainbow session because then you're like, hey, this is going to be amazing. You go in with a little bit of
Pin that.
positivity.
How about that buzzword? Pin the rainbow session.
I don't think it's going to pick up. Okay. This one is also one of my favorites, and it's kind of a recent one. It's called, well, the term is ways of working. Have you guys heard this phrase?
Yeah.
Not often, but
It's been dropped in a couple of times. We just need to, in light of this COVID pandemic, we have to adjust our ways of working. And they're saying it like a phrase. Just say processes.
Yeah.
like
I think
I've been doing my ways of working anyway. Like nothing's really changed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have my process. It's fine.
I'm good.
Okay. Okay.
We're gonna scrap that. Is that a no? I think it's a no.
Okay, it's a no from me, obviously. All of these are no for me. But anyways, so now we're moving into market segments where you kind of like classify people within an LSM or whatever.
Oh, I haven't heard that in a while. LSM.
LSM. What about a SWOT analysis?
That was a big buzzword.
SWOT analysis was one of my favorites.
SWOT and pestle.
So this one is curators of cool. If anyone says that in a meeting.
Oh, wow. That's hysterical. Curators of cool.
What does that even mean?
That's not even a thing.
It's not
a thing.
Okay, so on the same tip, this one really killed me. I got it. It was in a brief. They outlined this as a market segment that they want to penetrate. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
I know penetration as well. Woke pioneer.
No.
Guys, we're targeting woke pioneers.
Woke pioneers.
Yeah. Look, the fact that they use the word woke in a brief. No. Hard no.
It's gone. Even your email said no there. Okay.
Yeah. Jacque, what do you think? The woke. I mean,
I'm just trying to understand. Are they pioneers who are woke, or are they pioneers of using the term woke?
So my understanding of it was these guys are champions of wokeness. So these are the guys that are ultra woke, and they are the influences of what it means to be woke. So they like, it means nothing, right?
Hmm. Okay. No, that's horrible.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay, the next one. I mean, this one's a gimme, right? New normal.
oh yeah, we spoke about that earlier.
Yeah.
New normal.
Unprecedented times.
Uncertain
It's
times, new
just-
normal.
I don't think we ever need to use this word. Just say we are super adaptable to our times.
Change. Yeah,
Adaptable.
yeah.
You know, because that's what new normal means, right? It just means you're getting used to something.
Yeah. We're adapting, we're changing to the current uncertain times.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, yeah,
What
that
happened
would,
when polio came out? Did like people have to adapt to the new normal when there was polio? Like,
the
Black
Spanish
plague.
flu. Hey guys, it's the new normal.
The first person who ever said that, they must.
1918.
They were like, burn him at the stake. They were like, cool, I don't know what the fuck this guy on. Burn him. He must have the disease.
Burn him. It's okay, guys. We're just getting used to the new normal here. Everyone burns at the stake.
That would make it really bad if there's just like a bunch of villagers with like pickaxes and fire, not tiki torch, and they're like, guys, we have to get used to the new normal.
Ye old new normal.
Love it.
I know. Okay. So the next one, this one's been around for a while, but I remember the first time hearing this in a packed boardroom. And it was like, you know, when your heart just drops and you feel like, oh, something serious is happening. The first time I heard the term big data.
Oh, that's a nice one.
Ooh, what is this? And then this person knew what big data was, and they expanded on this concept, and I was like, wow, I'm really out of the loop here. I don't know what big data is. What could it possibly
That
be?
guy had some big data energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Big
bet you there's a position, big data analyst, you know, and
Oh,
they,
yeah.
they put that on their business card, and they're like, I analyze big data.
Mm.
I want to come up with small data. Do you think that would catch?
Mini. What about medium?
Micro.
Medium. Medium to large.
Yeah, we interviewed one guy. He said this, so we're doing this.
Okay. So big data, anything?
I don't know, man.
What does it mean?
It's just a fancy term for data, really. Right? Just bigger and better.
I know, but it was just such a daunting thing. And
That was a thing. I remember that when that term first came out, that was a thing everywhere. It went viral. That's another buzz term. That term went viral fast. Big data, big data, data. Yeah.
Okay, let's pick out another one here from the list. What about snackable content?
Mm.
I love a good snack.
Okay, so I have to go with a yes for that. Snackable. It means it's easy to absorb. And, you know, because I'm in digital marketing now, we need snackable content. It's going to be small little chunks of, you know, the bigger picture, but segmented snippets of stuff.
Yeah.
You could have a series, you know, publish at different times, you know, package it different ways.
Mm-hmm.
I'm for it, I've got to say.
I'm actually okay with snackable content because I'll tell you why. It is easy to understand. You know what it means. There's no like hidden meaning or trying to say something that has no meaning and putting a lot of meaning into it. So I'm okay. Jacque?
Yeah.
Snackable. As
Not
long as it's,
snack.
would a tasty video can be considered as snackable content?
Definitely.
If it's cut down, obviously. If it's like
If it's
60
snackable portions.
Or
No.
if you were doing like mini cheddars, that's snackable content.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What I did there,
Microchip.
because it's a snack. Okay, so the last one, right? I love it when people say in meetings, we need to create content that is thumb stopping.
Oh.
Thumb stop.
Thumb stopping.
Oh, never heard that one.
I've
Have you
not
never
heard
that
that.
one?
I've not personally heard that, but I get it. I mean, makes sense because people are on the mobiles, people are online now more than ever before. That's also a thing now more than ever before. What's a thumb stoppable?
Thumb stopping.
Thumb stopping. Yeah, I find it lame. Sorry.
One of my favorite ones. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Sorry, Ryan.
I think on average, people scroll through about 8 kilometers of content a day. 8 kilometers.
Crazy.
Some work on fleek.
Yeah, and it's amazing that you guys just believed that as well. I just made up.
I've heard something like that, but I think it was 15. I heard 15 kilometers actually. 15 kilometers.
It is actually a lot of just scrolling.
So there we have it. Highlights of Bleed, the show about advertising and more. Episode 1 and 2 highlighted there for you, just nice and streamlined. Feel free to watch the full episodes. I don't know if they will be worth it. We had a good time filming them, so hopefully there will be some form of entertainment there for you if you go and watch the full episode. If you would like to follow us on Instagram, we are at bleed_advertising. If you want to email us any complaints, we're only accepting complaints at the moment, so that's bleedadvertising@gmail.com. If you want to go and check our site, it is bleedadvertising.com. And what else can I say? Yeah, this was fun for me, just talking into a laptop. Yeah, highlights, just making things streamlined for you. Join us next time. We'll do episode 3 and 4 highlights. That's basically if we don't have any other content. So yeah, just repurpose content, you know. So that's basically what we're doing. But yeah, the final episode of Bleed Season 2 is coming out. And yeah, we'll see if our sponsors renew us for Season 3. Let's see what happens. But we'll keep the Bleed extras going. And then yeah, maybe there'll be a Season 3. Let's see. Other than that, I have absolutely nothing else to say. So peace out, enjoy yourselves, keep safe, go well, all the best, all those lovely things. So yeah, I'm out.